Hello, everybody. Welcome to Perspectives. I'm Sam Jones, and my first guest today is an old partner and an old friend of mine. His name is Tad Jones, the Executive Director of the Will Rogers Memorial Museum. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good to be back.
How's life treating you in the fast lane?
Oh, it's great. Lots going on.
Boy, no
Will
kidding.
Rogers. Yeah.
Why don't we start off with some of the renovations that are planned?
Yes. In 2019, Dr. Bob Blackburn said, Tad, put together a vision for the future of the museum, and we did, and began this process. And now finally, literally this last week, we got the approval to go forward with this big 3-story building and a new entryway into the museum. The 3-story building is going to be, it's going to house office space so we can have more room for exhibits. It's going to have a collections area because we have 2 vaults that are just terrible for collections. This is going to be one of the state-of-the-art collections areas, and then the 3rd floor event center overlooking Claremore. So that'll be wonderful for weddings and reunions. People can rent that and overlook Claremore for different activities. And then we're going to have a new entryway into the museum, a little bigger door, a little more welcome area for when we have tour groups come in, and then what's most important, the bigger gift shop, so you can walk out with that Will Rogers memorabilia. So that'll be going in too.
And that's important.
It is. It really is. I mean, because it's carrying the legacy of Will Rogers out with them.
The pictures that you provided us are astounding. What's overall completion date to have it finished?
We're going to break ground on August 14th. Of course, August 15th is the day that Will died. We do a wreath ceremony on that Friday, the 14th. So we'll break ground then, and then it's about a 15 to 18 month process, depending on the weather, when that's going to be done. So we're going to be looking at the spring of 2028. We'll have that 3-story building up and ready to go. At least that's our hope. So it's been a long time in getting all this ready. We've had a lot of money raised from the state. The birthplace we sold to the Cherokee Nation. They're doing a fantastic job getting it renovated. And then we've raised a lot of money from donors all over the country that's going to help us out. So it's an expensive process, but the building was built in 1938, 3 years after Will passed. There was a renovation in 1982 that put the wing on with a theater and some office space. And of course, this is now the biggest renovation since then. That's going to be the 3-story building. So very exciting times.
In the last time I was there, there's one area where there's an old typewriter. Mm-hmm. Is that the typewriter that was with him when he died?
It was. He used that one on almost all his dailies, and he had it, and so it's even kind of broken up a little bit. You can see from the crash. So that's one of the big sites that people like to come and see is the actual typewriter Will used for his daily column that was actually in the crash.
It's the most amazing thing to me. I think I mentioned to you before we started that I came across I don't even know where I saw this, but someone said, why didn't we call Route 66 the Will Rogers Freeway or Will Rogers Road or Byway or whatever? And it turns out that was given some serious thought, wasn't it?
It was. Actually, Congress in 1936, the year after Will died, had a vote to make it the Will Rogers Highway. And then the Will Rogers movie came out, the Will Rogers Story in 1952, with Will Jr. playing Will. And there was another nicknaming of the Route 66, the Will Rogers Highway, and they had logos made up, and they had these little plaques that are up and down the route. They did a caravan from Chicago to Santa Monica, and it was all about naming it the Will Rogers Highway. So we are celebrating the Will Rogers Highway this year, 100th anniversary, and we have a new exhibit at the museum you can come in and see and learn all about it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, you've got so many things planned for the folks, and it's broken down into days. Why don't we start with day one? And if you will, take the ball and run.
We have got spring break coming up, and so instead of us taking off for spring break with all our kids, we have activities for people to come to the museum. So on Monday, we have quilters coming in. They're going to be doing spinning wheels and showing off all the weaving. And we also have what I think is one of the neatest things is our behind-the-scenes tours. So the tomb is closed off to the public all year round, except on this day. We open up the tomb so you can walk down there and see where Will and Betty and some of the family are buried. You can go into the vaults, which again are closed off to the public. But you can go in and see the vaults, take you down the basement, which is very unique, and then in the library to get to see that. So we do a behind-the-scenes tour on Monday. On Tuesday, that is a cowboy day. Of course, Will Rogers loved being a cowboy, and so you get to wear your cowboy hats and come in. We're gonna do some cowboy cooking with you. You'll be doing some trick roping, and so that'll be on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, Will Rogers loved flying, and that's going to be Aviation Day. So we're going to have all kinds of stuff. Stuart Russo, we're going to have the Museum of History there doing a Stuart Russo exhibit. We're going to have a aviation simulator in the theater, and then our
Really?
Yeah, that'll be pretty neat. And then we have our famous airplane contest. So you can learn how to make a paper airplane, and then we have a contest where you throw your paper airplane, and whoever gets the furthest gets a neat Bart Taylor, Will Rogers book or some other stuff from the gift shop. So it's kind
So
of
they need to save those toilet paper cores.
That's right. Start working on it right now to get your paper airplane ready to go. So that'll be on Wednesday.
My.
Yep.
So much has happened. My wife and I drove Route 66 from Chicago down through Tulsa and out beyond. And of course, who found out about it but Michael Wallace and said, well, if you go by this place, you'll get the best pie. You go by there, you get the best chili. I mean, it was outrageous, the things he knew about it before we even hit the road.
Well, that takes us to day 4, which is Thursday. That's Will Rogers Highway Day. So we're doing cars, and we're going to show the movie Cars. Michael Wallace was at the museum just a couple of weeks ago when we opened up our Will Rogers Highway exhibit. And so we're going to have the Scouts are going to have a Pinewood Derby so they can roll your cars. We're going to have classic cars in the parking lot. So yeah, it's all about cars, Route 66 and the Will Rogers Highway on Thursday. And then Friday we do a talent show. You know, Will Rogers, he didn't just show up and be great. He learned the hard way and getting up on stage and getting over the nerves. And so we offer that every year, a talent show. So any age can come. We usually have young kids. We've had adults too can come and be in the talent show and get up on stage and sing or play the piano or do a magic trick or juggle, whatever you want to do.
Or a rope trick or two.
That's right. You can do that too.
You know, it's an amazing thing to know how many stories about him are floating around out there. Some of them I've wondered about. Did he really get up in the stands when he was rodeoing for show and tell and with his ropes and all and help corral a bull that got...
Oh yeah, that was probably his big claim to fame because he was in the Wild West shows that were traveling all over, and they were in New York City, Madison Square Garden, which is still there today, and a bull got out and ran into the crowd, and Will roped it, and they say saved people's lives and got it back into the stadium there, and the next thing you know in the newspapers is Will Rogers, you know, Cherokee cowboy from Oklahoma helped save the day, and everybody wanted to hear what Will Rogers had to say and watch him do his trick.
Must have been an amazing fellow.
Yep, his rope tricks, yep.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your flow of information. What else have you got coming?
Well, those are the 5 big things we have for spring break next week. So then it's just a matter of just getting ready for the year. We have groups coming in from Route 66 and the Will Rogers Highway all year long. We have this thing called the Great Race, which is coming in. They're going out of Springfield, Missouri and going all the way through to California, and they're going to stop at the memorial with about 160 classic cars sometime in June. We got our kids camps that are coming up in June, which we get a lot of people showing up for that. And then we're going to be opening this is the 250th birthday of America as well this year. And of course, Will Rogers was America's cowboy philosopher. So we're going to have an exhibit celebrating America and Will Rogers' role in American history.
My word, that took a lot of planning.
It did, and they're still planning it. There's a lot of work to be done with that. I got a great staff though. They are on the ball.
You must have.
We had 100 kids in the museum today. My staff they're traveling all over the country talking about Will Rogers. We're bringing people in all over the place, and they're just doing a fantastic job.
And for the folks who are new to this part of the world, this is a great time for an education.
It is. Come on by the Will Rogers Memorial and learn about the Will Rogers Highway, and then one of the most influential, and I would argue the most popular person in American history.
Had to be. Had to be.
Everybody
easily.
loved Will.
As you've done it, as you've helped breathe life into all of the events that you have going on, have you learned anything new?
Oh, you know, it's hard to comprehend how big he was. You know, we all knew that he was a star, but just knowing how big he was as a person is amazing, and his humanitarian efforts. And I think that's probably the one of the things that people don't know about. He was in the movies, he was in the radio, he did newspaper.
Did he ever do the Ziegfeld Follies?
Oh yes, he was big in the Ziegfeld Follies, yeah. Matter of fact, we have a saddle that Will Rogers gave to Mr. Ziegfeld's daughter that we have now in the museum.
Is that right?
Yeah, but he was such a humanitarian. You know, Will traveled all over the world helping people out. When there were people destitute, he didn't just talk about it. He did talk about it, but he would show up. He would raise money for them. There's plaques all around the country from people that honored Will Rogers because of what he did in his humanitarian efforts.
I understand he had a weakness for ice cream?
Oh, I think chili was his thing. That was his big weakness. He loved chili. And Ike's chili in Tulsa was his favorite chili. So if I said he had a weakness with anything, I think it's his chili. He would eat it all the time. Most of us would get heartburn as much as he ate, but that was his thing.
Well, listen, I want to thank you first for taking time to cross the street and tell us about it. And for the folks who are not familiar with all that he did, all that he accomplished, this is a prime time to learn.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's a great museum. It's been here a long time, and we got a lot of people ready to tell the story about Will Rogers. And what a great role model citizen in the country and the world today. We need somebody to really look up to and how to treat a fellow person, and Will Rogers is that person. He never met a man he didn't like, and that's because he looked at the good in people, and we all need a little bit of that.
Boy, we can use it now, couldn't we?
We could.
Well, thank you for coming by. Keep us posted on any changes. For goodness sake, let us know. And I'm going to go over to Ike's and get some chili.
Good stuff.
All right, my man. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more after this. My next guest is what we in the trade call a live wire. And I mean, don't touch her. You'll get shocked. Her name is Mary Beth Babcock. She's an entrepreneur. She's a former Tulsan of the Year and a community activist as well. I mean, you got your finger in a lot of pies.
Well, once I start, I just got to keep cooking those pies.
Where's it come from?
Oh my gosh. Possibly at some point in my life, someone may be saying no. And I said, I can do this. And just putting my mind to something and getting creative and getting an idea, I have to see it through.
Well, I don't know how you've managed to accomplish some of the things we're going to talk about, but you got national folks coming in, national names, and don't tell me, oh, nothing to it, because I know there was a lot to it. First of all, let's get down to the Meadow District, which is your turf.
Yes.
Why do they call it your turf?
Well, I don't know if it's my turf, but my shop is in the Meadow Gold District. So of course you've got the historic Meadow Gold neon sign. So with a little time, we're like, why don't we call this the Meadow Gold District?
Sure.
You've got this beautiful, iconic neon sign. So we got it registered as Meadow Gold District. So started a business association, and now we have meetings. All the businesses in our neighborhood meet once a month. But I have Buck Adams, so that's a 1950s Pemco gas station. Got that in 2018. And I thought, well, I need a mascot. So I thought a space cowboy would be so much fun to work with.
And there we are.
He now stands 20 feet tall.
Where did he come from?
Well, first my imagination, and then I got introduced, Reese Martin, who's the president of the Oklahoma Route 66 Association, said, watch this video of this guy, Joel Baker, with American Giants. And this guy just knows everything about all these, what they call muffler men, giants. He introduced me to this gentleman named Mark Klein in Natural Bridge, Virginia. He's a fiberglass sculptor. He made a mold from one of these giants, and now he can customize them to whatever anyone wants with the right price.
Yeah,
right?
with the right price, I started to say. There are some names in here that I want to run by you. We've got Stella Adam,
Yes,
Rosie the Riveter, and Cowboy Bob.
that's 5. So we have Tulsa, now we call it Tulsa, Land of the Giants. So I just started with one, and then I thought, well, we need a space cowgirl. So that's when Stella came along. Then Meadow Gold Mac came along, and Rosie the Riveter, and Cowboy Bob is the final of them. Who knows, there may be another one down the road.
And for those of you at home who might not be familiar with Rosie the Riveter, let me kind of explain a little bit about it. Years ago, World War II, everybody rolled up their sleeves to go to war, really. And there were women pressed in to serve as pilots. Some saw combat, some flew planes, some trucked planes back and forth. Then there were the riveters, and these people were instrumental in putting the aircraft together, putting the ships together, and they were riveters, and that's exactly what they did.
Yes.
And that's
yes.
where Rosie the Riveter came from.
Yes. And so there's actually a gentleman in the neighborhood that owns quite a few properties, Aaron Meek. His mother was a Rosie the Riveter.
Is that right?
He wanted that made in memory of her, to carry on her legacy, and so he's behind.
How did you ever find that guy?
Oh gosh, Mark Klein, the one who made the Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this guy Joel Baker, he is just the guru of all these creations, and he said you've got to meet this guy Mark Klein in Virginia, and the rest is history. So we get to design them, and then he brings them to life.
Well, you're also a tireless promoter of Route 66,
Yes.
which was the mother road, according to my friend Michael Wallace.
Yes. Love that guy so much. Michael and his wife Suzanne. So I actually had a shop downtown Tulsa it was 2006 to 16, and I was on the old alignment of Route 66. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I carried Michael Wallace's book, The Mother Road. That's when I got the bug, was back then. Mm-hmm. And then ever since, I got this space on Route 66, the 50s Pemco gas station, and I had woken up one day, wasn't sure what I wanted to do. By my shop downtown, the building sold, rent went up, and I said, what do you want? And I said, I want to do retail, but something small. And that little gas station popped up 30 minutes later after
You're kidding.
I'm not, and I just knew it. I said, a souvenir shop in a gas station, historic gas station on Route 66. And the Mother Road Market hadn't come yet. So that was in the process, but I knew people were starting to give the route the love that it deserves. And then fast forward, you've got the centennial here. At that time, I didn't even know that this centennial was coming. So now, there's all this beautiful attention on. It deserves this. Route 66, obviously, the Mother Road deserves the love that it is now getting.
How did you get to know Sterling Harjo's movie, The Lowdown? How did you find out about that?
Well, when I had my old shop, Dwelling Spaces, downtown, he would come in our coffee shop down there, and we actually sold his DVDs, Barking Water, Four Sheets to the Wind. I'd follow his comedy group, the 1491s. So I knew him back then. So just watching him continue on and just grow, and I think the story goes he ran into Ethan Hawke in an airport, and the rest is history.
It is.
Some people just have the drive, and they don't let anything get in their way, and they follow their passion, and that to me is what Sterling does. He follows his heart.
The Lowdown.
Yes.
With Mr. Harjo's Tulsa-based show starring Ethan Hawke.
Yes.
Have you met Ethan yet?
I have.
How did that go?
It was amazing. I got to meet him and his wife, Ryan. I mean, just down to earth people, just like you and me.
Just happened to be actors.
Just happened to be. Yeah, and they're around supporting all these small businesses. They come into Max, Meadow Gold Max all the time, and Ethan ordered this really cool custom cuff he had seen, and he wanted something specific on it. And he said, do you think that they would do this? I said, oh, I think they would. And so it's just been really cool. And to have, I'll be honest, to have someone like that supporting you and telling you, Sterling sent me a text the other day. I haven't told many people this, but he said, in quotes, he said that Ethan had said, Mary Beth, she is a force of nature. She put these giants, she keeps putting these giants up. I said, oh my gosh. But
that's quite a compliment coming from him.
I would say so. So my point, you never know how you're impacting somebody, whoever it is. And I try to encourage people, even within my team, if they're doing something that it needs the attention, let them know. Build these people up. You
Have
know?
you met Tim Blake Wilson yet?
I haven't met Tim Blake Nelson yet. No, that's one I have not. He's in town right now, though. I know they're Deakins, Roger Deakins and his wife are in town, and he was the cinematographer for "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" And I know like the Tulsa Film Collective had him and his wife out for a conversation. But yeah, I think Tim's walking around town right now. You never know. That's the beauty too in Tulsa. You never know who might walk through your door.
Well, it's really good to have somebody, and don't be offended at what I'm saying here, of your character, putting these things together. Because you, more than anyone else, appreciate what's happening. And what you've done is you've offered up a miracle and brought it all together.
Well,
That's something that's quite an accomplishment.
thank you. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. I'm not kidding. I happen to love what I do, and I love being creative. I love working with the artists, the other creatives. You know, got a real fun friend, Gerardo Gonzalez, does these really cool videos. His photography is unlike anybody else. There's just working with these people and watching these ideas that you might have in your head, but you aren't trained to do, you know, be the cinematographer or be the whatever. It's fun to get these ideas to them. A graphic designer friend of mine, Jamie, he's in California, but from Tulsa. He works for Tony Hawk, but this is my brand manager here in Tulsa. And it's just, hey, I've got this crazy idea. Can you help me put this on a T-shirt? And next thing you know, they just take it to another
You realize
level.
you could add promoter to your list of credits
Well,
very easily, and it would be legit?
you know, I was a cheerleader growing up. So a lot of times, you know, when you get older, a lot of things make sense. A lot of things still don't make sense, but a lot do. But being a cheerleader, when I'm passionate about something or someone and what they've created, I'm gonna cheer for them. I'm gonna root for them.
You got big plans in there. You're sitting on something.
I don't know. You know, it was really honored. The Tulsa Christmas Parade asked me to be their grand marshal this year. So I'm working on that right now. You know, we get to do a big float for the parade, so that's going to be kind of fun, you know, to put that together. As far as the future, you know, really taking care of what I've built. So I've got Buck Adams, Meadow Gold Max, and Buck's Vintage. So there's 3 shops. I don't need to do any more. I just need to love and nurture what I've created.
I have a feeling, though, before we get too far down the road, your name's going to be connected with a lot of folks. And there's going to be a lot of honors coming your way when people find out what you've done.
I just do what I love. And if that comes, I mean, how cool, how neat.
When you leave here today, when you leave the studio today, where are you going?
We have a team meeting tonight. So my staff, we call it the Cosmic Staff Meeting. So we're all gonna get together and, you know, talk about all the events that are coming up and just, you know, brainstorm.
Will you keep us posted?
You better believe I will.
Because we'd love to be a part of that in the background.
Yes, yes.
And I want to get you back in here too when, you know, time's right.
Who knows when the next giant goes up?
I want to be there.
Just kidding.
And I know a lot of other folks would like to be there too. Hey, thank you for coming in and being a part of this.
Yes, thank you.
And I got to tell you, my hat's off to you for what you put together.
Thank you so much. It
I
means
can't
a
wait
lot.
to see you in the Christmas parade. I'll stand back and yell something obscene
Yes,
just to get your attention.
I've been practicing the wave. Elbow, elbow, wrist, wrist, wrist.
Yeah, well, and you can also do one of these.
Oh, yes. I can't wait. I'll see you there.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Sam.
We really do appreciate you. That's all the time we have for this hour, for this get together. Hour? Did I say hour? I didn't mean to. Age is creeping in. Anyway, that's all the time we have for this edition. There we go. We'll see you back here next time.